Why do Indians go on holiday and gain so much weight and happen to you so many times before? And in this video, I'm going to show you scientifically and psychologically exactly why this happens. These are the 5 mindset traps that every holiday exists within that you get sold on every time to overconsume and be gluttonous. And number 1 is a deadline. So, when you're away and you eat, you're thinking, let me try and maximize it as much as I can do. You're probably thinking, oh, when I get back, I'll be better on my diet, so let me just indulge now. I'm only here for 7 days, let me maximize my food. You'll be thinking, we're only going out for dinner 3 times and I need to maximize that as much as I can do. So with this deadline, what it creates is this moment where you thinking, oh, this is my last breakfast at the hotel. This is my last dinner out at the hotel. And then when those lasts come in, mindset-wise, our accountability goes out the window and we start maximizing our decision-making for indulgence. And number 2 is there's a mindset of escapism, right? If you've been dieting before you are away, you're probably thinking, I don't want to think about food when I go away. I don't want to count calories. I don't want. There's these moments where we rid ourselves of responsibility because we're so fed up of the day-to-day life. Now, most people go on holiday for this exact reason. And then with that, what happens is that instead of controlling things moderately, we throw it all. As soon as we get on that flight, as plane tires hit the tarmac, we're all 2 sheets to the wind with our responsibility and we're on holiday mode. It's an escapism from real life. So when we're escaping from real life, I don't want to do the normal things of real life. And also there is a accountability issue because why should you have to do these things? Now, the problem is that most people who fall into this escapism bracket normally say to themselves, I don't want to because normally I'm weighing food, normally I'm diligent, normally I'm controlled, normally I'm disciplined. But then when they look back at their real life, if you look back at the last 12 weeks, their reality is that you've probably been doing the thing 40% and saying the same thing every single weekend, because Monday to Friday is the same thing as escaping on the weekends too when you've got a nice social event or you just want to go out for dinner without the kids. So the reality is you've probably done 40%, but when you get on holiday, that escapism is that you feel like you've done everything before this moment 100%, and then you don't do steps, you don't look at portion sizes, you don't look at frameworks of nutrition, you don't look at anything with accountability, and you just escape the whole concept around decisions. And the third one is, especially with Indians who like to control their money and get the money's worth, the financial investment that goes into a holiday also plays a massive consequential part of how you eat when you're there. Like being able to get the 2 breakfasts because you're getting your money worth. You're having a savory breakfast and then you're having a sweet breakfast. You know, my mum on holiday, even though she's white, would do this thing where even though it's a buffet, she would have a starter, main, dessert every single night. She wanted to maximize the buffet options so she could try all these different things because she's paid for it. And what that means is that when you have this in financial investment, you want to maximize your budget. And the way that you maximize on holiday is you drink and eat your weight in things, because that's what you equate to getting the most out of the holiday financially. Now, when we really look at it, you've paid and invested in a holiday to get some time away, to go to a new city, to go to a new place, to experience new culture, to try new foods. The investment has already been made regardless of how much you eat anyway. You're investing in going away, not investing in 3 breakfasts or 3 dinners or 3 lunches. And that's where a lot of Indians get caught short, is they try and maximize their budget and they equate it in the food and the drink that they ate. And this means that whilst the maximizing is that you start making choices that you never thought you would do. That investment and those choices are determined by how much you're investing. But if every single holiday you're in this same mindset, the funny thing is that if you have this mindset on holiday, you have it every week and you don't even realize. Because what you have on holiday is a 10x magnified version of your normal habits. So what you do at weekends with food will be represented tenfold when you're away on holiday. And number 4 is scarcity. Now, this is a sales tactic, right? If you've ever seen an offer on a shop at a high street, or you've seen an online sale, the going out of business sale, or the summer holiday deal, which then has a countdown of how many hours until it's finished and there's no more sale. That works on what we call scarcity. So if someone says, oh, I've only got 2 slots left with my financial advising company, you might want to get one of those 2 slots. Because there's 2 slots, you think, oh, I need to take action in case someone else gets it. And the same with scarcity is that you're going to a new place, which means that I might never come here again. That's the most common one that I hear that fucks people over completely. I might never come back to the Amalfi Coast. I might never come back to Dubai. I might never come back to Pisa. So therefore, then you indulge massively in all of the food that's on offer because you might never come back to Amalfi. But the thing is that most people spend all their calories on dumb shit that you wouldn't even get in Amalfi anyway. So like, for example, I've seen people say this exact thing and then have a croissant for breakfast in Dubai. If you say, I might not come here again, but you're not eating the food of the land that you might not ever get again, you're just using it as a gluttony tactic to overconsume. And when you think, I might never come here again, you'll also think, I can't miss out on. And it's the fear of missing out, which is, if someone says to me, oh, by the way, did you go to Pisa and try that gelato place? Even though you've had 4 gelatos the day before and 4 before the day before, you might not miss the different texture or chocolate, so that every day at that buffet or every day at that hotel, you're trying every single different flavor because you wouldn't want to miss out on finding the best one, right? There's a problem with this scarcity. And then the thing with scarcity is because within the Indian community, this is a social norm. When you say to somebody, oh, let's go tomorrow, let's maximize tomorrow, I want to go to these 4 different places to try these 4 different things, and therefore the social norms of other people doing the exact same thing will make you feel that that's normal. Now, and the problem is that when you do it often enough and you buy into it enough, you just overconsume calories all of the time, you end up really, really fat. So I had to learn this very good tactic of redefining what scarcity meant. And it meant being specific. The thing with food and Indians is that food is emotional. It's love, it's sadness, it's happiness. We don't think very clearly or very logically about it, and therefore general statements allow for emotion. I couldn't miss out. I never want to come back here again. And the way that you combat these emotional decisions, if you can specifically say 3 to 5 things that you want to have, you will enjoy those 3 to 5 things more because you're not trying 100 different things. You're going to get the 3 to 5 things that you want. And when you specifically say what you want, you can also then say no to a lot of shit that doesn't make sense, like the croissant for breakfast. You don't need to waste it elsewhere. And that's what happens. It's the scarcity that leads to emotional decision making. And I need to miss out. But miss out on what? You might never come where again? And then what specifically do I need to eat on this holiday to feel like I've indulged in the culture? Because not everything you eat at these restaurants are going to mean that they're cultural. Because you might eat paella 4 times. The first time was cultural, the second and third and fourth time was just you eating paella. And then the last thing on scarcity, if you're watching this, you live in Dubai, or you're in a higher tax bracket, for example, the likelihood of you going back there is very high. Let's just say that. I've said that I might not ever go back to Greece. I went back 2 years later. I'm never going to go back to Turkey. I went back 2 years later. I'm never going to come to Dubai again. I live here now. And all of these moments, and we can't predict if we're not going to live there. And we can't going to predict if we're not going to go on a holiday there. So saying I might never come back when you're financially able to, more than likely means you will visit it again. And it's, again, looking not emotionally at the situation. And that's a common default when it comes to the scarcity. And the last thing when it comes to holidays is disrupted routines. So as soon as you go away, for some reason, when that plane hits that tarmac, you live a different life. So if you've got kids, your morning time will probably look very similar, just in a hotter country, for example, but there is no morning structure. You don't have to get up for work. You don't have to do particular things at certain times. You don't have to get up and make breakfast, for example. So your morning structure goes completely out the window, which means like any type of gym routine, any type of steps routine, any type of activity, any type of just normal eating framework goes out the window. So you end up with additional hunger at different parts in the day that you're not used to because of the routine change. You end up moving less because you're not commuting into the city or going to the gym in the morning. And therefore, your activity is going to be lower, so your ability to burn calories is also going to be lower too. Disrupted routine, and when you're relying on food from different places and your buffets or restaurants, it relies a lot on choices. Whatever you do Monday to Friday, Saturday to Sunday is going to be magnified by 10 when you get on holiday. So if you are terrible at making decisions on a Thursday afternoon when the snacks are out, what do you think is going to happen when you're in let's use the Amalfi Coast as the example again, when you're presented with 17 options for a snack in the afternoon or dinner. When you don't have great decision making, when you don't have the ability to look at logically decisions or plan your meal structure or understand the calorie differences so that you can bank or you can take food away to have more in the later parts of the day, these fuck it moments that always happen on holiday because you're not in a routine, because you don't have food prepared, because you're not on a meal structure, because you aren't got your time managed like you would at home. Not that you have to, but it just means that you are relying more on last minute decisions. And most people suck at last minute decisions. That's why they normally aren't in shape before they go on holiday. And that's why they continue afterwards to not be in shape after their holiday, because choices are everything. And then when you have this disrupted routine, you're basically going with the flow. And if you like holidays like that, that's great and amazing. And so do I to some degree. But the problem with going with the flow is that it relies a lot on reactive decisions, reactive planning, and then most importantly, uncontrollable environments. And when you put yourself in uncontrolled environments or something that you haven't thought about or something that you haven't planned for, you end up either making poor decisions, you end up making fuck it moments, you end up taking a lack of responsibility, and you'll find it hard to manage the situations you're in. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to control every environment. It doesn't mean you have to not always go with the flow or be completely planned. But if you have struggled with weight whilst you're away, and you always gain 5 to 6 to 7 pounds every time you go away, and some way you don't mind that, but then you come back and you hate yourself, then there's a case of that you need to find the middle ground between these two. Because there's a linear part of learning shit like going on holiday and not getting fat. It's about recognizing and the awareness of how much over you're going. And when you've done one where you recognize, oh my God, I eat quite a lot of food when I go away, or you eat a little bit less and you're like, oh my gosh, that was half what I normally eat, but I'm still not losing weight. It's like, that's still half of a lot is still a lot. And then you make some adjustments here to here where you start taking these holidays as a serious game, because holidays are a every year thing, even 4 times a year. And if you want to be able to get in shape, and absolutely people who want to stay in shape, they need to manage the holiday period. There are people who yo-yo diet for years because they don't think holidays are something that you shouldn't change habitually. And that's totally cool. And I now go on holiday after that year of traveling where I have the same or if not more enjoyment, and I eat less calories. Because what I do enjoy, I get to enjoy to the best of my abilities, but I don't spend half the holiday feeling shit, tired, sluggish, and feeling like a boiled bag of potatoes at the beach, because I haven't gone too over the top. So if anything, I feel better because I've kept healthy, I feel better, I look okay still, and I've had to enjoy myself specifically in these moments across a holiday. And that's where I believe that most Indians go wrong, is that they not willing to find a middle ground between this place here and maybe even 4 here. And that change in between comes when you are sick and you're tired of yo-yo dieting and dieting every single year and always going back and losing the same 5 to 10 pounds. Because most people, they go on holiday, they gain the weight back, and then they get on a bit of a streak, they lose the weight back, they get momentum back up, and then before you know it, they're back on holiday, gaining that same 5 to 10 pounds, and then having that cycle again. It's exhausting. It's mentally frustrating. You're not making actually any progress. You're just losing the same ones over and over again. Coming back off that holiday, renewed hope, retold ambition of I'm going to get back on it after this holiday, and you just end up staying in the same position with all of this effort. It doesn't make sense. But if you could just go away and change some small tweaks, some small strategic changes to how you view a holiday, most Indians would see progressive change with their weight loss, not see holidays as a barrier, and actually go away and learn the big part, which is, are you good? Can you control? Do you act like healthy when you're not in just Monday to Friday mode? Get your money's worth in experiences. Pay for the roller coaster rides, pay for the aqua park, pay for the sunset views of a balloon ride. You don't need to get the fucking 19,000 calories because you paid 500 quid for an all-inclusive. You can get them the same investment, the same return on investment, just not through calories. And if you take this advice and you look at the things that I've looked through, from social pressures to scarcity, these are the things that will be creating your weekends to being a problem too. And that will be a barrier to your normal fat loss Monday to Friday to Saturday to Sunday. And if you can tackle home, you can tackle work, you can tackle socials, and you can do all of that repeatedly without weight gain, and then you can break the myths of, oh, my genetics or my Indian genetics or my food is the bad. It's like, no, like it's the situations you place yourself in and how you respond in those environments. The holiday is just a magnifying glass of 10x your normal habits. Change those normal habits, holidays will be fine. And if you want to know exactly how you could do that, I can run you through a particular game plan of what we do with our clients, and you can speak to one of my team, look at the problems, look at the solutions that we could offer you, and get you started with our coaching immediately. If you want to work with me personally, I have VIP clients in Dubai, which you can click the link and ask the team to speak about the VIP program, only with people in Dubai.